Hey there, my name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life. In this video, I'm fishing on a pier in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Before we get started, I want to provide you with a disclaimer. I don't catch a lot of fish in this video. In fact, I only catch one fish during this entire outing, and here it is. But I captured quite a few sharks in this video, and by capture, I mean with my camera. This video is more about the experience. Now, if you know a lot about pier fishing, I really hope you'll leave a comment and help us all out. Here is something that I did learn. If everyone is fishing on one side of the pier and you're fishing on the other side of the pier, well, you're probably not going to catch a whole lot of fish because you didn't get the memo. And I also learned that local fishermen are more than happy to help if you ask them specific questions. Otherwise, they'll let you believe whatever you want to believe. As always, there are links in the description. If you like fishing, if you like piers, if you like the ocean, or you just like the sunshine, you're going to enjoy this video. So go ahead and hit the like button, and let's go pier fishing at Myrtle Beach. Context is important to every fishing story. I guess you could say I began adulthood fishing competitive bass tournaments. Fishing bass tournaments will change the way you see fishing for the rest of your life. I fished with my cousin who went on to fish professional bass tournaments. He won quite a bit of money too. To this day, when it comes to bass fishing, well, I know a thing or two, but competitive bass fishing is not about rest and relaxation. The key word there is competitive. I've spent the past 20 years trying to learn how to relax while fishing, and saltwater fishing is a good way for me to learn to relax while fishing. Because when it comes to saltwater, I don't know anything. I mean nothing. Fish in the great brine have teeth, and that's enough to intimidate me. About 20 years ago, right here at Myrtle Beach, my cousin and I fished on a different pier, and I bet we caught close to 100 baby sharks. No, not those baby sharks. Real baby sharks. Little bitty, tiny sharks. It was so fun. We weren't the only ones catching baby sharks back then. Everyone on the pier was catching baby sharks. It was strange. Speaking of catching baby sharks, let's look at some regulations. On the pier, you don't need a license, and from what I've been told, fishing for sharks is illegal. But that was never actually explained to me. I don't know anything about saltwater fishing. I don't know whether I'm fishing for sharks or not. I put shrimp on the hook, and I soaked the shrimp. But despite seeing a lot of sharks, I didn't catch any, so no problem there. There are no shortages of piers at Myrtle Beach. The best I can tell, there are 5, maybe 6 piers. I'm fishing on the one that's by our hotel, Springmaid Pier. And though I didn't know it at the time, Springmaid is a special pier. Hurricane Matthew nearly wiped it out, but they rebuilt the pier and they built it back stronger than ever. At 1,060 feet long and 36 feet wide, Springmaid Pier is the longest pier on Myrtle Beach and one of the longest piers on the East Coast. But I didn't know any of that. I chose Springmaid because it was the closest pier to the hotel. The end of the pier features a large tee that's 110 feet wide and gives big game anglers the perfect spot to cast into even deeper waters where I'm told the big ones reside. I got everything I needed at Springmaid Pier Tackle Shop. Everything, including bait, cost me about $40. The folks at the tackle shop were extremely nice, and I walked to the end of the pier where it makes a large tee. During our visit to Myrtle Beach, the temperatures were amazing, and I assumed this would help fishing, and it did for everyone else. I gotta be honest about my approach. I didn't get up early for this fishing excursion. I didn't want to, and it turns out I didn't have to. The crowd didn't show up until after I showed up, which was after 10 a.m. But I kept noticing that everyone was lining up on the south side of the pier. I didn't want to be near the crowd. That they were lining up in a different place was fine by me. I'm still in the habit of not talking much when I'm fishing. Nevertheless, even though I wanted restful peace and quiet, non-fishing tourists kept coming up and talking to me.
It's the first time on the pier since they rebuilt it.
So I didn't even know that it hit the hurricane. Did the hurricane?
Yeah.
also noticed that people on the south side of the pier kept throwing their throwbacks on the north side of the pier, my side of the pier, which explained why the sharks seemed to like the north side of the pier. So I started asking around about the strategy, and here's what I found out. Springmaid Pier is home to numerous fishing tournaments, and locally it holds the record for the largest Spanish mackerel catch at 125 pounds. Spanish mackerel come up from Florida in the spring, and we're here in the spring, though it's the late spring, but I'm told that, well, Spanish mackerel is what everyone is catching. I have no idea what I caught or what anyone else is catching. Like I said before, I know nothing about saltwater fishing, but I was told they were lining up on the south side because that's the direction the Spanish mackerel are running. And I guess that's true. Honestly, I have no idea. But why wouldn't that be true? Because that's where everyone was lining up. And then there's the part where everyone is throwing their throwbacks on the other side, my side of the pier. Well, maybe they're just trying to keep the sharks away from their bait, and that certainly makes sense. And as time went on, more and more tourists walked the pier. They didn't want to get in the way of the people that were actually catching fish. Of course not, that would be rude. They stuck to the north side of the pier where they could watch all the sharks. And yes, that's where I am fishing and not catching anything. Even if it was illegal to fish for sharks, it didn't matter. The sharks were being fed pounds of throwbacks every few minutes. Why would they want a morsel of shrimp when they can have mackerel? It's shark economics, people. It's a win-win for everyone involved except for me. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, this outing cost me about $40. If we look at this as an entertainment cost, well, then I fished for a little over 3 hours, but let's call it 4, so that works out to about $10 an hour. That's not a bad deal. The gear I rented at the bait and tackle shop was the best gear I've ever rented for pier fishing, but I've fished at other piers where that's not the case. If you're looking for more than one outing, bring gear from home. Now, you might feel a little intimidated if you're from a landlocked state. Trust me, I get that. Even though I don't live in a landlocked state currently, I have for most of my life. It still takes me about 3 hours to get to the beach. Both surf fishing and pier fishing are straightforward. It's not much different than catfishing. So let's say that you're going to be at the beach for 5 days and you want to fish in the mornings and the evenings. Well, then it probably makes more sense to have your own gear. You can buy used gear or less expensive gear. In some cases, that'll save you a little money. Fishing with live bait is always better than frozen bait. On this trip, I just wanted to enjoy the experience. But if you're really wanting to catch some fish, fish with live bait. You'll need one of these. I had a blast on this trip. The experience was amazing, and as always, it wasn't long enough, and I always leave wanting more. And I'm glad I got to share it with you. I want to thank you so much for watching this video and sharing in this experience. Here are some other videos that you'll enjoy. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. My name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life.